Hi, I'm out tonight and I'm really excited to be out. Tonight there's a wind warning and potentially 80-mile-an-hour gusts on the summits. So it's going to be a really exciting camp. I'm probably going to look for shelter and I'm camping at a spot called the Hare's Gap. There's a large wall there that I can hopefully tuck in behind, just depending on what direction that the wind is going. So I'm going to talk you through the equipment that I've chosen whenever I get up there. Some of the kit that I've got I've had a long time, and there are reasons for that, and I've actually got quite a few items of new gear which I'm going to talk you through whenever we actually get there. Okay, so I'll see you shortly. Okay, that's me set up. Now I'm pretty happy with the site that I've selected for the tent. There's really a mountain on each side here, like front and behind me, and the problem is the wind will come in and hit the mountains and bounce back, so it's very gusty. But I'll let you see the gang set up with the tent, later on. But look, I said I was going to talk about some of my cooking systems, or not my cooking systems. I said I was going to talk about some of the kit that I have, and the best place to start off here at the moment is I'm obviously going to get cooking. So this inside here is like a Toaks, I think it's a titanium 30 or 500 mil, and I've got like a little dynamite bag for it. So the whole thing is really super compact. This will actually hold my gas and everything, which is great. Just a little bit fiddly to get out of the bag. Now the cooker I'm using tonight, I've got a wee BRS, and I'm not using it, but I just kind of bring it as a backup. But I've got my gas in here, and obviously that is a complete cook system. But the cooker that I'm using tonight, it's a Fjallraven Polaris, and I've just found this to be a really reliable stove, and it's just very fast and effective. And I sort of find now it's my go-to sort of stove for all my sort of camping trips. It's in around 80 odd grams, and I know it's just reliable. It's a pressure regulated stove, so it's really quick under sort of cold conditions. So with all of my kit, I try to get the weight down as low as I can in some areas, and then I kind of add it back in for comfort in others. So this is an Ortlieb waterproof, kind of bladder. It's 2 litres, and I think it's maybe like 40 or 50 grams, so it's really light. So this is my sort of chosen method for carrying water. Just a little bit more So of course, the wind blows my camera over and the lens lands in cheap shit, but always come prepared. So we'll try again. Can't remember exactly where I was. So that's just the issue with the gusts, as I said, coming from different direction here. So there's big gusts hitting the tent from the front. But I mean, hopefully it won't be a problem. So I've used the bladder now and got my water stored out, so I'm going to get this boiled up. So tent of choice tonight again is the Fjallraven Abisko Lite 2, and this is just the vestibule and the space in it. So I've got it completely zipped up because there's just so many wind gusts coming from different directions. So hopefully when I set the camera down here, no gusts will actually blow the camera over. So I'm actually going to get the stove lit, and then I'm going to shut the camera down, because under windy conditions like this, I just don't want to take, under windy conditions, I just want to make sure that when I'm cooking, that I'm completely in control of everything. So as you can see, I really would have preferred the rear of the tent to be getting this. It's just a bit frustrating. It's sort of happening on the vestibule, but there is plenty of space in this vestibule, so even when it does deform, there's still a bit of margin for error, I suppose. But I just could not predict or work out what way this wind was going to end up coming from. So I kind of took a chance, and here we are. So we'll just have to grin and bear it. All right, so let's just talk some more about some of the things I got with me. I have a little tiny, don't ask me which one it is. It's a little Swiss Army knife. And I'm not a great fan of knives, and I don't really want to bring a lot of knives with me. whenever I'm out camping. But whenever your hands get cold and you can't open things like this, a little knife is really handy. So I'm going to do this out in the porch of the tent, because obviously I don't want the hot chocolate just going everywhere, and that just makes that so easy. And the first thing I'm going to do, because I don't like blades about with air mattresses and things, is just basically pop that back in. So some of the other things that I have with me tonight, I got a little Tricology pillow, and I just keep it in this little stuff sack. And it's a little inflatable air pillow, and I've never really used air pillows before, but I can't remember the exact weight of it. But I mean, what I'll do is, with all of these bits of kit, I'll put a link in the description. And this thing is just, I mean, it's just so compact and just so light. And let me just see, work out which way I need to inflate this. Yeah, that should be all right now. It inflates pretty much for like about 3 or 4 breaths. And whatever way it's baffled, it's pretty good. And at the moment, I'm actually just going to use it for popping my feet onto for a little bit of insulation. All right, so next up on my kit list, this is the LED Lenser H19R signature headlamp. Now, admittedly, LED Lenser sent this to me, but they sent it to me because I actually asked for it, and I've been wanting it for ages. And so far, I'm really, really impressed with it. I sort of like to have lots of light whenever I'm putting up my tent, particularly if I'm setting up a tent in the dark. And I always also like to have potentially lots of light, just in case tonight it goes mad. So there is the phone, which is just typical. Give me a minute and I'll get back to you. In fact, I just saw who that was, and I'm not going to mention it on camera, and I've just declined it, so I won't get back to you. Right, where was I? And also, I always sort of think, do you know what, if I ever need to bail in the middle of the night, I want to be able to see where I'm going under extreme conditions, and this light, will really do that. I'm going to review it later at a later stage, but at the moment, just some of the other features with it. You've got like 2 different beams from it. So you've got like this one here, which is just a really wide flood beam. And then you've got another one which is a really narrow spot for distance. You can individually control these, and then you can also run both of them at once. It also connects up to your phone, and it will let you see how much power you have left, amongst other things, and you can actually control it, and you can zoom it and everything from your phone. But tonight's not all about that, but it just is really, really well featured, and I must admit, I'm really happy with it. And it's not one of the things I'll be buying, reviewing and selling on eBay. I'll actually be keeping this. So this is the LED Lenser H19R. So what other bits and pieces I've got with me? The mattress that I'm using, which you maybe saw earlier, is a Big Agnes Rapide SL, and this has been a real game changer for me. I'm not going to go into all the details, but I had quite a few thermarests, and I was trying to get everything done as light as I could, and I eventually ended up with a thermarest Neo Air Uber Lite, which was about 250 grams. But it was so squeaky noisy and so slippy, and it ended up, it deflated on me, and I've no idea why. And Thermarest, to be fair, did replace it, but I just sort of lost confidence with it. And then I bought a Nemo Tensor. I think it was a Nemo Tensor insulated, and it was a nice mat, but I don't know, it did everything pretty well, but there was just nothing by it that I was blown away with. It was slightly more comfortable than the Thermarests, and really well made, and definitely a quality product, but it just, it just didn't really do it for me. So I then decided, I don't know, I just looked at reviews and I decided to give the Big Agnes a try. And you know what? It's been a complete game changer, particularly in comfort. I mean, the comfort of this mattress is, it's slightly, it's maybe like, was 100 grams heavier than the Nemo, but it's like, if I was giving it a rating for comfort, I would give this like 10 out of 10. Whereas the Nemo would maybe give it about a 7. It is just such a comfortable pad, and it's maybe in and around 700 grams, and I can easily manage it because I've lightened the weight that I'm carrying in other ways. So the Nemo, or not the Nemo, the Big Agnes Rapide SL. If you're looking for something that is, where comfort is the most important thing to you, that's also pretty lightweight, has a decent R value of like 4.0 or 4.2 or something like that, compresses down quite well. But if you're really looking for that comfort aspect, and it's how stable, it's a superb mattress, and it's been a real game changer for me. And I am literally 95% as comfortable as I am in my bed at home. So like I said earlier, that I would talk about some equipment that I had changed and some that I haven't changed. So something that I haven't changed, I've had this Rab Neutrino Pro jacket for 5 or 6 years. And over that period of time, it has just served me so well. It's got 800 fill power hydrophobic down in it. And you tell me, or you judge for yourself, it's got tons of loft in it. And pretty much every time I come out in this jacket, I'm a cold sleeper, so I always sleep in this jacket. So I've trashed the jacket. I've really got good use out of it, and it still has retained its loft. And it's been a great product. And for me to replace this, for something that's maybe fractionally lighter, but then less durable, which has been a major amount of money. So I've just hung on to it, and I will definitely never sell this jacket. It has been so good. And any Rab down insulated product that I've ever got has just performed for me so well over the years. So last piece of gear that I've got tonight, this is the pack I've been using for the last couple of camps, and it's the 3 FUL Kedan Pro pack. Excuse me, and again I'll be doing a full review on this. So lastly, as I'm talking about actual gear, I'm going to talk about this tent, and it's the Fjallraven Abisko Lite 2. And I mentioned things about this tent before, and I'm not just going to repeat myself on that. But honestly, tonight I'm coming out in a weather warning situation, potentially camped in an exposed area, and this has been pretty exposed. And I had the choice of obviously bringing my Hillyberg Namatch, which is 3 kilograms, and this is 2 kilograms. And I just could not get motivated to carry the extra kilo. And with the performance of this tent that I had out in previous winds of 40 to 50 miles an hour, I just thought, this is what I'm going to take. And so far, it's doing really, really well. So you can see here, there's a tremendous vestibule in the tent, and I've been able to cook and organise with everything completely sealed up. So really, really happy. And I mean, the winds outside at the moment, maybe 30 to 40 miles an hour, gusting from different directions, and you're getting an idea of what's actually happening, within inside the tent. Ventilation, I mean, there's very little condensation here. I have the vents sealed up, and I can open those, and really, really well vented at the back, and also very, very few drafts, despite the fact that the fabrics, on the tent are quite thin. So it is pretty mad up here tonight. This is just to give you an idea of what's sort of happening. The gusts at the moment are probably hitting 50, 60 miles an hour, maybe more. I just don't know. And practically speaking, it's impossible to get out and actually measure them. So I'm just going to sit it out and see what happens. I'm certainly 100% sure that the tent is really well secured. I'm pretty confident that it will hold out. So let's just wait and see. It's I think about 8:30 at the moment. So I have a fairly long wait. I think it's maybe to be about 3 or 4 in the morning until the gusts are meant to ease off. But who knows? I mean, it's a weather forecast at the end of the day. I would say certainly for sure I'm in for a pretty rough night. Good morning. So this is the calm after the storm. So obviously I have survived last night, and the tent survived really well too. I got a reasonable amount of sleep maybe after 2 o'clock. So I slept from 2 to about 6, and then got up, went to the loo, and slept again from 7 till now, which is about 8:45. So I've actually had a reasonable enough night's sleep. The wind last night, it wasn't constant. It was just really hitting the tent with big gusts from the side. But I mean, I had 4 additional guy lines in the tent, and I must say there was at no point when I was really worried that I thought, what, there's going to be an issue here. But like in any tent, when it's so windy, it's really, really hard to sleep. So I struggled a bit with that. Not much else really to report. I mean, it's just great to be out. Great to be out in these types of conditions. I mean, do I enjoy it? Yeah, I do. I mean, it's really exciting to be in a tent. Obviously not so good when you're absolutely on the limit, but I didn't feel that I was on the limit. Last night I picked a reasonably good area to pitch the tent. I'll maybe show you that, in a minute. And the tent and everything, survived pretty well. I wouldn't be doing it all the time, but I was kind of hoping maybe to get a bit of snow. And here in Northern Ireland, to get a bit of snow, you need to go high. And I didn't want to go on summits last night because I just thought that's completely mad. And this sort of location here, which I think is about maybe it's in around 400 meters. I can't just remember. I'd hoped it would be high enough for snow, but I look out this morning and there's nothing. It actually thought of it. So there's not much else to say. Just look, thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the video, and I'm obviously putting out a few videos at the moment. Not exactly sure what will be next. Probably I'm trying to review this tent. I'm not going to do it now when I'm up in the mountains, because I want to compare it against a couple of other tents and a few other things to do as well. So hopefully it won't be long. So look, yeah, thanks for watching, and until next time.